We're celebrating. Welcome to Dishing It Out with David and Nikki Nellis.
It's our anniversary. It's not a bar mitzvah.
No, it's not a bar mitzvah?
No, it's not.
Well, today I am a man. This is our anniversary show. We've been on the air 2 years today.
It's true.
And Tuesday is our 14th wedding anniversary.
Also
and may I
true.
say, you are the luckiest woman on the face of the earth.
I know, you remind me every day.
I can't believe
how lucky I am.
We're still on the air and we're still married. This is unbelievable. All right, so let's talk about the show. We've got an amazing show today. Joining us today is celebrity chef Guillermo Pernot of Cuba Libre restaurant and rum bar in Philadelphia and now in Washington. Mm-hmm. He's in town to celebrate the opening of the DC Cuba Libre, and we snared some special time with him for dishing it out, and he also brought in some unbelievably special-looking treats. So.
I know, I'm just about to tweet out. I did a picture of it.
So much for my diet.
Yeah, not this morning. And also joining us today is Todd Kleiman. Now, you know him as the food critic for Washingtonian Magazine, but he's also the author of a new book. It's a history mystery book of sorts. It's called The Wild Vine, and it traces the roots and near demise of American winemaking's first great grape, the Norton. So we're going to get the 411 on that in a little bit. And the 17th annual Taste of Georgetown, it's coming up next Saturday. And we've got Jim Voss from Old Glory and Oli B from Bangkok Joe's. Did I say it right?
You did.
I said it right? Yay! I'm starting off on the right foot. From Bangkok Joe's, we're going to have a little smackdown in studio and talk about the competition next week. I'm going to actually be a judge there, so you should all come down and see us.
Yeah, pray for sunshine.
Pray for sunshine, please. Pray for sunshine.
All right, and also Lindsay Marsh is here from Leopold Brothers. They're a boutique distillery in the Denver area that makes liqueurs, flavored whiskeys, pisco gin, and absinthe. We're going to see God today. They're all available here in D.C., and they're actually all right in front of us, and we're going to be trying them. So I'm looking forward to that. Lindsay, why don't we start with you? Leopold's has only been around for 10 years, and obviously it's relatively new compared to other distillers, but you've made quite a splash, if you'll pardon that
pun.
Deft pun of mine.
It's one of many that you'll hear today, I promise.
Who are the Leopold brothers? What's the deal here?
The Leopold brothers, Scott and Todd, they are actually brothers. People find it amazing that two brothers could work together this long and do so well for themselves. They're perfectionists. I guess that's the best thing to say. They grew up in the Littleton, Colorado area, and we actually had a brew pub in Ann Arbor, Michigan for about 10 years. And so we started off with brewing. Todd went to brewery school at the Siebel Institute in Chicago, and then he went to Munich, where he spent 18 months just traveling around working with different brewers to hone his craft. And then 2 years after we opened the brewery in 1999, we started distilling. Michigan laws are really great for brew pubs.
And where did they find the audacity to think that they could compete with the big boys?
We don't compete with the big boys. We are part of the craft distilling movement.
So no audacity involved. Yeah.
We're really happy being part of the craft distillery movement. It's what makes our products unique and what makes us happy.
But you've made quite a dent in 10 years. It's. I mean, there are a lot of people who try and can't go up against them, which is my point.
Todd is very, very talented.
All right. So
now you have all these products. How many products do you have?
I think we have 17 now.
Okay, and so just tell us, just briefly, how many did you bring here today?
Well, I have 6 in front of me right now.
Okay.
I have our gin. It's called Leopold's Gin. I have our American Small Batch Whiskey, which is our newest whiskey. Mm-hmm. Our New York Apple Whiskey, which is probably 5 or 6 years old. Our American Orange Liqueur, which is also new. It's like a Cointreau or a Grand Marnier. Mm-hmm. The Cherry Liqueur, which I drink on ice cream. And then I brought our absinthe out today.
I drink on ice cream. Okay. We should have brought some of that with us.
That's a great line.
All right. Well, what are you going to pour for us first to taste?
We're going to start with the gin.
Okay, great.
All right, and then let's get to Guillermo.
All right, so while we're doing that, with us today is award-winning chef Guillermo Pernot. He is credited with introducing Nuevo Latino cuisine or Cubano cuisine to Philadelphia. He is a James Beard Award winner and a winner of Gourmet Chef of the Year Award. And he is in town to officiate the launch of DC's own Cuba Libre in Penn Quarter on 9th Street. It joins the other restaurants in Philadelphia, Atlantic City, and Orlando. We're thrilled to have you here with us today. Hello.
Good morning.
So, congratulations on the opening.
Thank you.
Your newest restaurant. We're impressed that you're here, given that the opening was on the 1st, just a couple days ago. So, for those of us who haven't had the pleasure of being in the original Cuba Libre and the other restaurants, tell us a little bit about the restaurant and its menu.
The restaurant is founded on traditional Cuban food, but then we decided to initiate different flavors of more innovative cuisine. I'm trying to make food that, what would happen if the revolution did not occur? So I introducing the classics and then the new innovative flavors of Cuba, using the old techniques, all the vegetables, spices, and so on.
Well, what's a good example of that? I mean, what's the difference between, like, what would be some classic Cuban food and how have you turned it?
Well, ropa vieja is a very classic Cuban food. A Cuban sandwich is very classic, but then instead of doing the traditional Cuban sandwich, I decided to do an Ivor City style, which has provolone, salami, and so on. Instead of, in addition to the Swiss cheese and the roasted pork and the ham. Also, ceviches is something that we think that is very interesting for a new design of the menu.
Okay.
Different styles of cuisines like Cuban Chinese, which I find it to be very interesting.
Is that chifa? No, that's not chifa.
No, that's Peruvian.
Right?
Correct. But Chino Cubano cuisine is something that is very interesting. There is a huge influence of Chinese cuisine in Cuba, and also African techniques. So we decided to use the African spices into tuna and to make a more modern twist.
Well, there's also a Cubano influence as well.
There is also Cubano. Exactly.
That's Jewish Cubano. It's like being an Orienta. I love it. All right, so let me ask you this question. What drove you to become a chef? Did you just wake up one morning and say, I want to be a chef?
Pretty much so. I'm a Columbia University psychology major. And
well, that's got a lot to do with cooking.
David's ready to get on the couch. You shouldn't have told him that.
And I didn't want to do that for long, so I decided to get in the restaurant business. And I spent many years in front of the house, meaning, manager, waiter, etc. And then one day I just thought that I wanted to cook. So I started doing that about 14 years ago.
That's all? Wow.
Yes.
That's a pretty rapid rise to the top of the heap.
Yeah, substantial amounts of awards in that path. Like you said, 2 James Beers Awards, Chef of the Year by Esquire, 10 Best by Food and Wine, a James Beer Award cookbook, and many, many more.
What do you say when that happens? In other words, you're doing.
You look at the sky.
Thank you.
You're doing your thing, and listen, I'm sure there are chefs that campaign for those kinds of awards, but in the end, you win because your food is terrific and your approach is unique. So, I mean, it must have been mind-blowing. It's like going from the minor leagues to being the home run king of the of Major League.
Yeah, it happened very quickly, and I was very happy that it did happen. But you always have to know and remember where you come from, and you have to be humble about it.
You have to be humble.
Okay, 14 years ends today. It's over.
Okay, so let's talk about the opening here in D.C.
Yes.
Tell us what it looks like as you walk in. What's the design like?
Well, it's a street sign of the pre-revolution Havana.
Okay.
So when you walk into the restaurant, you see a beautiful facades of buildings and plazas and etc.
And what is the overall feel? Like, is it
it's always
high
fun.
energy?
It's fun, a lot of the music, and a lot of energy.
And what was the decision to come to D.C.?
Well, I believe DC is an unbelievable city food-wise. So I think we
agree.
And we just thought that DC was the place to be.
Okay. And you brought in a bunch of dishes today, which are very far away from us. I think I'm going to fight with the cameramen here and tell them that the food is too far away from us. We can't get it. So
I also bring a silverware the way you can.
I know. Well, we'll bring it over during the commercial
break. Look at me,
break.
guys. I could starve to death.
Yes, he could starve to death. Tell us about some of the dishes you brought in today.
Today, one of the dishes is a duck, which is a homemade smoked duck ham that is served with a corn relish, but it's garnished with huitlacoche, which is a corn fungus from the south, vinaigrette.
There it is.
We also brought some boquerones, which are white marinated anchovies, and we created cucumbers and roasted grape tomato salpicon with black olives and extra virgin olive oil. We brought a crab ceviche, which is something that is local, and with a smoked cheddar from Virginia and candy spiced peanuts and tomatillo salsa. And big eye tuna, which is one of my favorites, with jalapeno coconut ginger sauce, and pickled relish, and it's garnished with plantains.
Oh, it's beautiful.
My only complaint is that my wife, once again, has put it too far for me to just stick my fist in it. It's
Well,
beautiful.
during the commercial break, you can
I think I made two of everything.
You did. We
Gorgeous.
had plenty, and
Gorgeous,
he's always
gorgeous.
afraid he's not getting his.
Very
hard to do.
One more thing, the
Yes.
dessert, which I think is a very, very important dessert from the Cuban culture, and this is one of the classics, is a tocino del cielo. It's called, translates literally bacons from the heavens.
Okay.
Don't know why, because there's no bacon in it, but it's basically a flan that is made with just sugar and eggs, no dairy whatsoever.
Wow.
Really?
Yes.
Well,
But
we're
if I'm
gonna
looking at it, you can't even tell that. What?
No.
we're gonna have to take a break.
Do we have to take a break? Oh, it's break time. I'm sorry.
We'll taste test it during the break.
Absolutely. All right. Well, this is David and Nikki Nellis with Dishing It Out. We are talking with celebrity chef Guillermo Pernot of Cuba Libre. And next up, the Wild Vine author Todd Kleiman will be in. This is David and Nikki Nellis. We'll be right back.